My chosen word theater is Peking Opera, and my performance convention is the movement of Hua Dan. According to Travel China Guide, Peking Opera was originated from many different sources of art forms, especially from Huiban, which is a very popular art form from the 18th century of China. This art form incorporates music, singing, dancing, miming, and also speech, all together to illustrate the traditional folk tales of China. According to Pribilic, there are 4 types of characters in Peking Opera. 生旦净丑. I draw a painting for all of the characters, and each of the characters represents different people from different age group, different genders, and a different occupation. For example, Shen is the male leading role with an heroic and admirable personality. Dan is the woman character who could range from demure ones to flirtatious ones. Jing is the male character with an aggressive personality. And Chou is the comedic character that makes people laugh. So these characters have been subdivided into smaller roles like Hua Lian, Hua Dan, Lao Shen, and Wu Jing. So according to Travel China Guide, Peking Opera actors wear makeup on their face to represent their personality, to represent the differences between each other. The color choice of the makeup also contains symbolic meanings. For example, red symbolizes loyalty, white for cunning, and pink for youth. The clowns wear white patches around their eyes and nose, and for Hua Dan, they wear pink patches on their faces to represent the glow of youth. According to the same source, the performance space of Peking Opera has changed throughout time. It first started as 戏院, which is an outdoor courtyard surrounded by 3 sides of the audience. This stage is limited and small, so it changed into another type of theater in order to prevent the acrobatic accidents on stage. The stage floor turned into wood, and it covered by wooden curtains to prevent the accidents on stage. And for nowadays, in order to meet the demand of the increasing population of the audience, the old-style theater has changed into modern-style theater, which is a very big theater that could hold a lot of people. So, according to Edinburgh China, the actions of Peking Opera contains symbolic meanings. Actions like climbing a ladder, riding a horse, or rowing a boat are all conveyed through precise, accurate, and vivid actions by the actor in order to tell the story to the audience. And lifting a foot means entering into a house. Walking in a circle means a long journey has been taken. And also, the story has divided into 2 parts. The first one is Wen, which is the love story, and another one is Wu, which is the military story. And usually Wu is conveyed through acrobatic acts, while Wen is usually conveyed through singing, dancing, and speech for all the times. And now I'm going to introduce you to my performance convention movement of Peking Opera. According to William Zhang, all the Peking Opera actors are required to straighten their chest, tuck their hips, and straighten their arms, and also look to the furthest part of the audience while they're performing. Apart from that, different characters on stage are required to have distinctive actions on stage. For example, Lao Shen that walks in tiptoes and duck for the position. And apart from that, Hua Lian, on the other hand, they walks in more exaggerated movements. So in the same position, they lift their foot higher and walks forward. And very differently, Hua Dan, she walks in very, very small steps. So usually she walks like she's floating on the stage while she's actually walking, because her upper body remains straight and still. And today I'm going to play Hua Dan for my moment of theater. According to Beijing Tourism, Hua Dan, or Fair Lady, is a lively, vivacious young female character whose age range from 15 to 25 years old. Since my age 18 fits in perfectly within her age range, I decided to play Hua Dan for my moment of theater. And Hua Dan, in my perspective, is very different from Guimen Dan, which is another type of Dan role, the indoor lady, because she focuses a lot on singing and dancing, while Guimen Dan focuses a lot on just singing by singing slowly in the same spot. I decided to play Hua Dan and also add in my own perspective of how to mold the same age character within my age with my age in the ancient China times. So I found a mentor at my school who has been a Hua Dan for a decade. So she told me the play called Mai Shui, and the piece actually attracted me. The storyline is this. The young lady named Gui Ying was very mournful because she couldn't get married to the man she loved. So in order to comfort her, her maiden Mei Ying, which is a Hua Dan, was trying to comfort her by introducing different kinds of flowers in the garden. This song is very fast, and the fast-paced singing and movement actually show Hua Dan's liveliness and innocence throughout the whole song. And after watching Hua Dan's movements for several times, I break down her movements into two aspects of training. The first one is the flexibility of movement, and another one is the balance and stability of walking in a circle. So first, I will tell you how I practice the flexibility of movement. So I first practice how to put my arms into different gestures, because I noticed that Hua Dan usually put her arms into different places, no matter in front of her or beside her or above her. No matter where she puts her arms, my mentor told me that she should remain the arm gestures into a circle-like position. But during my early explorations, I always couldn't remind myself to shape into a circle, so I usually unawarely shape it into a very loose and straight position. After several times of practice, I found a way to always remind myself of that. That is to always raise my elbows up, no matter where I put my arms. So that is easily or naturally formed into a circle-like position. Another important practice done by me is the flexible twist of my arms, because Hua Dan usually twists her arm when she changes into a new sequence of performances. So in order to quickly and accurately twist my arms, I will put all the energies from my shoulder to my elbow to my arms, even to my fingertips. So the great support of the great tension of my arms will quickly allow me to turn my wrist in a very fast and accurate pace. Another important practice done by me is walking in a circle, the balance and stability of walking in a circle. So, according to Xiao Yushen, the feet of Hua Dan plays a very important part to support her walk of walking in a circle, because she walks in a circle in a very straight and still upper body. So that is my practice, my exploration. I found the sequence of the feet movement by sticking with each other very closely and even closely to the ground. So at first, I looked myself straight into the mirror and started to walking forward. I must become very patient with my upper body, because it needs to be straight and still, without any fluctuation horizontally. After I found my way, I started to add in more speed of walking slowly. So after that, I started to walk in a circle, and I maintained my upper body straight and still. Now, I'm going to show you my moment of theater. Please enjoy.
起来，什么镜子照？梳一个油头，什么花香？脸上擦的是什么花粉？头点的胭脂是什么花红？清早起来，梨花镜子照，梳一个油头，桂花香，脸上擦着桃花粉。头点的胭脂杏花红。
So, in my moment of theater, you can see me addressing the movements of Hua Dan in many different ways. So first, you can see me walking in a circle at the beginning of the performance. And due to the limitation of my room, I cannot walk in a very large circle, so I just turn in only one spot, but actually it could be larger. in a larger stage. So walking in a circle actually means a long journey has been taken, and we can understand Hua Dan's movement of walking in a circle based on the original story. So in this story, Mei has already sensed her master's Gui Ying's mournfulness because she couldn't get married to the man she loved. So after hearing this news, she quickly rushed to her room and tried to comfort her and find her. She introduced different kinds of flowers to her and tried to cheer her up. So based on the storyline, we can see that this movement actually reflects Mei Ying's liveliness and also her sensitivity and acuteness towards her master's change of emotions. You can also see me addressing some movements like doing this, like doing makeup in front of the mirror. And also, when I'm combing my hair, I also twist my arms, I twist my body, and also when I'm walking, I also twist my shoulders and hips to make it into a more fluid and always curvy position of my body. That reflects another personality of Hua Dan, which is the sense of proud towards her body. So Hua Dan is a young lady who is very aware of her beauty of body. So she likes to show her body to the audience by constantly twisting her hips and twisting her arms all the time. This shows her adorable and very cute personality with the interaction with the audience of all the time. So this experience of being a Hua Dan reminded me of the other experiences. For example, the first one that I remember is when I was doing Cats, the musical. I feel like Cat and Hua Dan has a very shared trait, which is the effortless of the movement. Because Hua Dan and Cat both requires the control of the body that could add on a lot of energies on their coordinates of the body that doesn't look like they're very powerful but very elegant on stage. So those two experiences actually trained my ability to coordinate my body to a high extent of body control. Another experiences that I remembered is when I was doing Mulan, the musical. So that is the first time that I've ever performed a character in complete English. While becoming Mulan, I also self-taught sword choreography on stage, which is a very traditional Chinese theater act. And for this experience, I also taught myself to play Hua Dan in in Peking Opera, and that is also a very important Chinese theater act. So also I'm doing this speech in complete English that I feel more related to Mulan, the musical. And also I'm going to move on talking about how I learned from this experience. So I became more fascinated about the strengths of the emphasis on details in Peking Opera. Due to the limitation of the space, the lighting, and also the costumes and props, Peking Opera actors focuses a lot on small details when they are shaping the characters. And I feel very useful by learning this technique into the future molding process of my characters. So in the future, I will focus a lot on how she look at each other, how she walks on the stage, how she sits down, and how she open her mouth and talk to others. I think the strengths of these details is to show more naturally and more vividly of these characters' emotions. And now I'm going to compare Peking Opera's movement to physical theater's movement. In physical theater, movement play a very important role in the part of the storytelling, apart from music, mimes, and even spoken language. And in Peking Opera, it is the same. Peking Opera actors use movements to illustrate a furniture, to represent an activity going on, to show her emotions inside her heart, inside their hearts. And I feel like they have the connection because the movements are very symbolic and vivid. And also, they don't have the very heavy reliance on spoken languages. But also, there's some little differences between Peking Opera's movement and physical theater's movement. That is the use of verbal language. Because in Peking Opera, the voice convention is very deeply connected with the movement convention. So the actors are required to speak or sing and dance at the same time. But it is different or optional in physical theater because the actors could choose to speak and dance at the same time, or they could choose to remain silent, which leave the space for the audience to imagine what is going on, what is conveyed through the movements they're doing on stage. And that is the end of my performance. Thank you!